Joining me now to discuss the law behind all this, criminal defense attorney Sara Azari. Sara, good to have you on. So we're going to see testimony soon. Sounds like going to be a lot of remorse expressed there from Officer Potter. How does the law see this? She's sad about, clearly distraught about what happened. Does that take away from any legal responsibility?
No, Jim. In fact, when defendants testify, well, first of all, they have a right not to testify, and the jury would be instructed that they're presumed innocent, and that fact cannot be used against them. And so when they elect to testify, it's really for two reasons: to humanize themselves and to explain certain facts, and neither of which are necessary for Potter, because we have heard from a slew of officers, her colleagues, her superiors, who have humanized her, who have talked about her being a good person, a good cop, a fine law enforcement officer, and a good friend. And then we have the footage that your reporter just talked about that shows how incredibly agonized and traumatized she was after the fact. So what could she possibly add to that? Nothing. And then there's a danger in explaining the idea that, oh, I made this mistake because it really doesn't matter. First-degree and second-degree manslaughter is about an accidental killing of somebody else. And so, she's going to get grilled, Jim, and she is going to be stuck with really bad facts that she's going to admit. The fact that the color was different, the trigger was different, the shape was different. Yeah. So it's just a really bad idea for her to testify. Yeah,
and I believe held on a different side of the body than the firearm would be. So if the law is clear on this, is this testimony, in effect, a jury play? Is it going to tug at the heartstrings, right, or an attempt to tug at the heartstrings of the jury members to see a sympathetic figure there?
Right. I mean, look, jurors are human beings. They come in with a set of emotions and emotional makeup. And so, of course, it could sway the jury. But ultimately, they have to follow the law. They have to apply the law, the instructions, to the facts. And so did she act with criminal negligence, second-degree manslaughter? Did she mishandle her weapon, first-degree manslaughter? That's ultimately the question.
So tell me that on first-degree manslaughter, to mishandle, I mean, clearly she mishandled her weapon. She used the wrong weapon, and she killed someone as a result. But what is the legal standard there? Can someone say in their defense, I made a mistake, right? Or is the mishandling a fact, right? Is that material?
The mishandling is material, Jim, and look, that the case has never been about a dispute that she made a mistake in pulling out the taser versus the Glock. The idea is the prosecution saying, look, you weren't even entitled to use the taser. And the defense is saying, oh, good on you for making this mistake and pulling out your Glock, because you actually saved another officer's life, so deadly force was justified. So that's really the dispute. And so if the jury finds that deadly force was justified and her mistake is okay, then she's not guilty. Otherwise, she's guilty.
We've seen a lot of cases where police officers use deadly force, and by the way, different circumstances among all of them. But you do see where the law and juries give officers greater leeway with the application of deadly force with their judgment of a threat. Now, this case is different because it was a mistake. It doesn't come down to, was this person a threat to my life? It comes down to really, mistaking one weapon for another. Does the law give greater leeway to uniformed officers to make mistakes like this?
Well, it's about the reasonableness of that mistake and making a split-second decision. And when you go back and look at the footage here, Jim, and also the testimony of Major Johnson, who was the officer who was like halfway in Wright's car, who supposedly Kim Potter was protecting, right? When Potter started screaming, taser, taser, I'm going to taser you, that officer actually moved out of the way. So that threat was no longer there. And, additionally, the use of force expert for the prosecution testified yesterday that even if deadly force was justified to save that officer's life, the fact that there was a passenger in the car and other officers standing by makes it unreasonable.
Understood. Well, lots to follow in this trial. As we said, we will bring you that testimony live when it happens. Sara Azari, thanks so much.